Hello everybody, this is Kunal Mehta from Make Me Scientific, and I'm going to take up in this particular video the reflecting telescopes. Now reflecting telescopes, they are of two types, Newtonian telescope and the Cassegrain telescope. So Cassegrain telescope video is already being made and you can find the link in the description. So the first question is, why do we use the reflecting telescopes? The answer is very easy. Now what happens is, in reflecting telescopes we have mirrors which collect the light, reflect the light and produce the image. Now wherein if we use a lens, there are some issues. The first issue is we should have the aperture. Aperture means the diameter of this lens or the mirror, that is known as the aperture. Now you need to keep the aperture very large. That is because of the fact that with these telescopes you see the heavenly objects, so the light coming from there are parallel. So you need to collect more light to see the brighter image. Now for more light or more brighter image, the aperture or the size of the mirror or the lenses must be very large. Now if you use a lens instead, then more amount of glass is used, the lens would become more costlier, the telescope would become more bulky. That's why we try to avoid it. Cost factor and the size factor. It will become more bulky. Now that's why we use these concave mirrors. Another reason is the chromatic aberration. When you have white light that enters the lens, you have the focus at 7 different locations. So you will get a distorted image, and that is very less likely possible in case of the mirrors. That's why. Now, here is a concave mirror in the construction. Then we have a plane mirror. Then we have an eyepiece, which is a convex lens. So the set of 3 makes the Newtonian reflecting telescope. We call this as a reflecting telescope because the light gets reflected and finally it reaches our eye through this eyepiece. This is the objective, the main part of the Newtonian telescope. This is the eyepiece where our eye is comparatively close to. Since the object rays directly come here and the object is at infinity, like the sun, moon, etc., heavenly objects, the light coming from it are parallel. So parallel rays, they meet at the focus of this lens. Now gradually, step by step, we will try to understand how the image is formed. Okay, and then we will land up into the magnifying power. So what I have over here is only a convex mirror, a concave mirror. So in concave mirror, the light is coming from infinity, so the rays are all parallel to one another, something like this. So there are these rays which are parallel to one another because the rays are coming from infinity distant object. Now the final image is produced at the focal plane, something like this. So these rays are going to make the same angle. Suppose this angle is alpha, then at the same angle alpha you will have the reflected ray, and finally the image is met. Same the case over here, all the rays would converge and finally meet over here. So this is the first step. So that means if you ignore this plane mirror and the lens for a while, these all parallel rays, they meet at the focus. So this point is the focus of our objective, that is the concave mirror. That's why I've written this point as FO, and here the image is formed, which is very, very small. Now this image is of course a real image because that is obtained by the meeting of these rays, correct? But now the moment we put the plane mirror within or between these two, so what is going to happen is, now the rays, now this angle has to be 45 degree. We keep the mirror with respect to the principal axis at an angle 45 degree. Now see what is going to happen. This image, this is the image, which is this one for this mirror. Now this image will behave as an object, virtual object, for this mirror because it is behind the mirror. So virtual object has one tendency, virtual objects are behind the mirror, plane mirrors, and the rays are converging. If you look carefully, these two rays are trying to converge over here, but these converging rays behave as the incident rays for this mirror. So in absence of this mirror, these rays would have met over here. So that's why this image will behave as an object for this plane mirror. Now the construction of the image, we will go step by step. We will have to extend the mirror, and you know the properties of the plane mirror, the object distance and the image distance are same. So that means I'll divide this into two parts, the head and the tail. So head is at some perpendicular distance, at the same perpendicular distance you will get the image head like this. And in the same way, the perpendicular distance from here is the same as the perpendicular distance over here. So you will get the image like this. Now, of course, the ray diagram looks little bit more complicated, but you should always understand that the object distance and image distance are always the same in case of the plane mirror. So this virtual object, this is the image for this one, but this behaves as a virtual object for this one, and now its image is formed here, which is this. So I'm going to call this as A dash, B dash, this as A, B, step by step understanding. Now, since these rays are going to reflect from the plane mirror and finally they are going to meet over here, so this becomes a real image for this virtual object for this plane mirror. Now, these rays are going to still continue to go forward and hit the eyepiece, right? And since this is a converging lens, this lens is going to converge the rays to our eyes, correct? Now, this is a special case in which we assume the final image to be at infinity. So what is going to happen is, this point where this real image by this plane mirror is formed, this point is exactly at the focus of the eyepiece. So this convex lens has its focus over here. So since this image by this plane mirror is going to behave as an object, because of the fact that these rays are going to fall on this lens. So incident rays are these rays which are appearing to be coming from here. So this image is going to behave as an object for this lens, correct? Now, since the object is at focus, the final image is going to be at infinity, right? So the rays coming from here, here and here are going to be parallel. Now our eyes will feel that these rays are coming from infinity. So final image is at infinity. This is how the things go on. Now, since we are going to talk about the magnifying power is angle subtended by the final image. This is the final image at our eye or the lens. So that means this angle is beta. This is the final image. The head of the image is going to make certain angle with the optical center or the eyepiece, or the eye, because they are very close to each other. So this is beta. And then if you imagine this eye directly over here, it doesn't make any difference, right? Just assume that your eye is directly over here. Then these rays which are coming from a distance object at infinity, say like this, star, moon, or whatever it may be, these rays are going to make certain angle with the eye, that is alpha. So direct rays into our eyes with respect to the horizontal angle is alpha, that is this. Now magnifying power is equal to beta upon alpha, but since all angles are very, very small, we take the examples of the paraxial rays. That's why we can consider tan beta upon tan alpha. That is due to the fact that if angles are small, sine theta, tan theta and the angle in radian are considered to be the same. Now for tan beta, I am going to consider this triangle, that is A dash B dash O. Tan beta is A dash B dash upon this distance B dash O dash, that is the focal length of the eyepiece, divided by tan alpha, and I should be saying tan alpha, I should be taking this triangle, that is ABO, because the angle of incidence and the angle of reflection are same, so this angle and this angle turns out to be the same. So we know that this whole distance is the focal length of the objective mirror. So AB, that is AB upon, it is FO. So that means the magnifying power is equal to A dash B dash upon FE multiplied by FO upon AB. Now since these two are the same, and why these two are the same? Because for plane mirror this is the object and for plane mirror this is the image. So object height and image height for a plane mirror are always the same, so we are going to cut off these two, so that is equal to FO upon FE. Now in some textbooks they have considered this as minus, because the actual focal length for the convex lens is on this side they have taken this minus. So in that way this also should have been taken as minus, but it doesn't matter because the magnifying power is by how many times the angle gets magnified. So my take on this is final answer would be FO upon FE. So if you want to actually increase the magnifying power, you should decrease this and increase this one. And that is also reasonably fair, because if you increase the focal length and the aperture, more light will come in, you will get the brighter image. So this is how the things work.